Dora Lopez, who, just for full disclosure, is a consumer of ours at the Helen Keller National Center and has been a pleasure to work with and has been very successful. And that's why I invited her to tell her story, finding a job.
Hi everyone, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Dora Lopez, and I'm speaking through a sign language interpreter. I'm from a country in South America called Peru. That's my place of birth. My mother was pregnant with me and had me as a young baby and realized that I was deaf and had Usher syndrome and retinitis pigmentosa. Around 6, my mother sent me to the school for the deaf in Peru. And I was there for 6 years, and then I finished and got my diploma. And then I went to another school. This was a training and a trade school, and I learned how to make clothes there. And when I passed, I finished that program as well. And then I went in and I was looking for a job to sew clothes using a sewing machine. So I went in, I was really motivated. And I also got to do a lot of folding of clothing by size and putting them into bags. Then I met my husband and we married and I moved to America. And oh my gosh, what do? I still wanted a job. So I was looking all over trying to find a job. And then I was hooked up with HKNC. And that's where I was first successful because I was able to go to HKNC. And the state, Bill Uberg, my state's counselor who's here now, he supported me, thanks so much Bill. I went to HKNC and I got training. And I learned a little bit about Braille and doing things in the kitchen and many different areas. Wow. I was really patient, and then I also learned a lot about language. I had to learn ASL because in Peru we didn't use that language, that sign language. So I was really motivated and ambitious. And after a year and a half, I completed my training. So Donna is my job coach, and she was helping me to look for a job. She was really looking, and I really wanted a job so desperately. So in 2012, around Christmas time, she found a job at Kohl's, the department store. 2 of us went, and I was so excited. We went there and went in, and there was a boss there and his assistant. And so then I had an interview, and I had to fill out the application. And so I got help from Donna in filling it all out. And I said, I really would like to work. And the woman said, sure, I hope so. I hope we can offer you a job. She said, oh, I really, really would like this job. So then they told me that they would call me and let me know. So I went home and I just crossed my fingers and hoped and hoped. And then they called me. I was so thrilled, and I zoomed off to work. And I had all different types of work at Kohl's. I went in, and there were so many people because it was the holiday season. And so the boss told me to stock some shelves. So there was, I'm sorry, the interpreter made a mistake. I was asked to assist the cashier. So I saw the long lines of people, and I was behind the cashier, and Donna, my job coach, supported me. So as the cashier checked everything out, I had to pack it into bags, and I had to be very careful. I didn't want to break fragile things, and I wanted to pack everything carefully, wrap up glass items in newspaper, and fold up all the clothes and get them into bags and do it very quickly. So, the people, there were so many people, and I had to be careful going to the bathroom because, I didn't want to hit anybody because, it was a man's house there. So I would take my time and make it to the bathroom and then get back to my work post, and I would keep working. And really, it was a really good job. I really liked it, and I worked hard. And then for 1 month, and then I was done with that job because they only hired me for the Christmas season. And then I was back home sitting and waiting. Donna promised me she was searching for a job, and I was really being patient, but I was so desperate for a job. And then Donna searched for 3 months and finally found a job with Cintas. She told me we have to go for an interview. And I went in, I was ready. I was thinking really positive and really, really hopeful. So we went in. And I had my interview. And the person's name was Yuli. And so they said, why'd you come for a job? Oh yes, I'd really like to improve my life. I need to do that with a job. So, and Yuli had friends and family who were from Peru, so that was very easy for me. And I said I would be trying to do the job. And they asked the head boss, Rob, to come and see me. And I explained that I was deaf and that, I had some vision loss, but I really wanted to work. So then I met another boss, Brad, and then I met another person, Tom. All those 4 people, I had to interview with all of them. They would ask me all these different questions, and I went from person to person with all these questions. And it was really kind of crazy talking to all these people. And I finally got to the most senior person. I was so nervous. They asked if I wanted a job, and I said, yes, I do, and I can do it. Because, I have support. And they said, you haven't worked in a long time. But they said, we might offer you a job. And I was just really thinking, oh, come on, please, you gotta give me the job. I got home, and then they called me, and I had a job. I was so thrilled. I was so excited to go to work, I couldn't believe it. So Donna went with me, and we started in at Cintas, and it's a huge place. Oh my gosh, so many people and machines, and everybody's just doing everything a million miles an hour. So I started off with towels. So I was like, oh yeah, I know what to do with this. But I had to fold up 10 towels into a packet, and Donna was teaching me how to do it. And all the people were talking and watching me. All the bosses were actually looking at me while I was doing this work. So I was kind of concerned, and I wanted to make a good impression. So I was doing everything and folding everything. And then after I trained with the towels, they said, oh, okay, good work. Then Tom, my boss, switched me to a different area to work on pants. So I'm like, okay, no problem. I'm really excited, and I'll try it. So this woman, Dila, she showed me how I had to put the pants onto a table and scan it with a barcode. Oh, I'm sorry. We're talking about the shirts. I have to scan a barcode on the back of a shirt and then look at a computer screen and put some information on the computer screen if I needed to. It was my first time using a scanning system, so it was kind of weird. Then I went over and tried pants. I was so surprised, but I was ready to give it my all. I went over and I had to put the pants on the table and I had to scan them again, and they had to go off through a conveyor belt. And I also have to check them and see if there's any tears or holes or other problems. And I have to record that on the screen that's up by the scanning machine. So I tried all these different things, and I had my training with the pants, and I worked on it. And then I realized I had to do it quicker and quicker and quicker. So I would scan them, and I'd have to put them up, and I would do, in a month, a lot. And then I switched over to the shirts system, which is even quicker. So it was really awkward at first, scanning the barcodes and putting it onto the hanger correctly, and all the people around me. There are 8 different women who work around me, and then there are 7 people who work on the pants, and I just saw them doing it so fast, and I was trying to keep up with them as hard as I could. And there are different numbers because you have barcodes on each one of the shirts. And some of the shirts are white, and they're so very bright and hard for me to process. They tire out my eyes. So there was a light that would shine onto a mirror and give me spots in my vision, and then I would smash into people and have problems. And another woman who's also named Dora, she asked me, well, what's wrong with you? Are you blind? What's wrong with you? And I was feeling kind of frustrated. So I was quiet, and I tried it again. So then I realized that light was the problem. I hated that thing because the angle of the light would shine it directly into my eyes and put spots in my vision. So when I went to have a break, I went into the cafeteria and I was eating and I bumped into people because of those lights, the spots in my vision. People kept on telling me, look where you're going, look where you're going. So I was really kind of sad and I ate alone. But then I went back and I thought, let me try seeing if I can look around, and really doing all this work for 8 hours a day really gets tiring for my eyes. And I have to look at all these shirts quickly and check them for stains and make sure there aren't any spots. And sometimes they would tell me, oh, you missed a spot, and I would feel kind of difficult about it. But I decided to turn off that annoying light because it was stressing out my eyes too much. So after that, I was able to look at the shirts more carefully and better. And then when it was break time, the woman who's in front of me, she just took off, and then she told me, oh wait, no, it's break time. So I would follow that woman to know when it's time for me to take my breaks. That was a big support for me. So I try to keep track of what's going on, and I make sure that when I'm moving the big carts of clothing that I'm being careful. But really that light, oh, it was so annoying. But I really have to work very hard, and I've been there for over a year and a month actually, and that's my story.
My name is Don Horvath, and once again I'm filling in for Dora Lopez, who couldn't be here this afternoon. And it's just such an honor for me to be here with you, Dora, and it's such a fantastic story. And I know that your persistence and everything really paid off. But you know, you were really part of a large team that worked together to work with you with finding employment, and that's fantastic. It's really an honor to be here, and it's an honor, and it's wonderful that you've made such connections and natural supports of your job, such as your boss, who I know you want more hours, so I heard that you work on Sundays, and I understand that transportation can be sometimes difficult on Sundays to get, so your boss will pick you up and bring you to work and drive you home. Yes, that's great. Yeah, so you can work more hours. And I know you're really diligent, and I know that the more pieces you process, the more commission you can make or whatever. So I know you're really working on your speed. So once again, great job. And I really, it's really an honor for me to be up here in Donna's stead. And I know that you guys work together as a team. And I can't say enough about what Donna did. Just reading the emails that came through the pipeline and all the support you got from the Community Services Program. So, congratulations.
Thank you, Dora, and thank you, Don. And I just want to add that my personal experience, I helped Dora a little bit, not too much, but Dora had 4 interviews for this position at Cintas. She was fabulous. The last interview, this is Cintas's policy, the final and 4th interview, if you pass the first 3, is at 6 a.m.
Oh.
And that is how the company makes sure that you will be on time for your shift. Now, Donna couldn't make it that day. And as the program supervisor, that responsibility to assist Dora with that interview landed on me. I was not concerned about Dora being ready for the interview, but I did not sleep that night, worrying about getting up on time to get her to the interview. So thank you very much for coming today, Dora, and sharing your story. Questions for our panelists? Any questions?
My question is, at any point in time, did you ever feel stressed or just to the point where you wanted to quit, but you always had that drive to keep going?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I had worked in the past, and I really desired have a better life. You know, I was always motivated, but I would get really stressed, but I would keep thinking positive, and I would have to try to manage my eyes because I want to have a better life. And I really love working. I was always taught that I had to have a job, and that jobs were very important, so I made sure that I followed that forever. Didn't matter if the job was in Peru or America. I always had to search very hard to find a job. So once you find a job and you like it, stick with it. Even though it might be stressful, you know, you gotta be patient. That's life sometimes. I really want to thank HKNC and the state so much for supporting me again.
How or if you had to deal with the fear of not being able to do it when you were trying to succeed?
Yes, I did. You know, when I was in Peru, it was really difficult there. You know, I went in and I was scared. Oh my goodness. I walked in and I was nervous and I was folding and I was doing my work, but inside I was shaking like a leaf. You know, I had to keep myself working and moving and doing it. My friend saw how quick, I saw how quick my friend was, and I realized I wanted to be as quick as them. So I kept on trying and I kept on working. And after a time, I got used to it. So then when I moved to America, oh God, did I want a job. So when I joined Cintas, you know, I was so motivated, but it was such a different system. They had all this technology and computers and scanners. I was nervous and I didn't know what to do. How do you make this thing work? And I had to figure out how to use the screen and how to check everything and how to make sure that I was scanning the barcode correctly. After a month of experience and knowing what to do and seeing how to do everything, I was able to memorize it and make sure that I was doing everything correctly and carefully. So now I'm just, you know, so comfortable in my work knowing what to do and how to do it.
Just wondering how you've been able to socialize with the other people in your work. Do you take breaks with them? Are they interested in the sign language? How does that work?
Oh yeah, you know, there are a lot of Spanish speakers at Cintas, so when I joined there, it was just so nice because everyone knew Spanish, so it's easy for me to try to communicate. I use facial expressions, I write, I gesture. Some of the people are older, some of the people are younger, but I really make sure that we have smooth communications, whether it's acting out or gestures or writing it down, we just get along well. And Donna was really shocked at how well I did it, but you know, that's just what we do.
For each of you, what high-tech or low-tech solutions do you use in terms of adaptive technology?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things I use. I use a video phone, and I use it for all different sorts of things. You know, if I need to call in work, or if, God forbid, I have to call 911. The one time when I was sick, I had to call and make an appointment. And I had to, you know, I have to tell the interpreter on the screen to sign slowly so I can understand them. And, you know, to be able to make appointments and such like that. Let's see, other things I use. You know, I have, I use the video phone all the time to negotiate with bill collectors and all sorts of things. Those interpreters really provide me some super support. Thanks. One more thing I thought of. When I was at HKNC, I had my training, and then I had an instructor by the name of Gene. And he taught me about using a cane, and he trained me how to use that, and he's really such a wonderful, nice man. And he made me use blindfolds and learn how to feel with the cane, and it was so very strange for me. I didn't really know what to do, but I learned how to understand the vibrations from the cane, and that helps me stay safe when I'm traveling. And When I go out into an area that has a lot of grass, for example, when I'm walking, it feels so odd and I'm always concerned. But he told me how to stay safe. He said, no, don't be worried. This is what you'll do, and this will help keep you independent. So even though I didn't really like walking on grass using a blindfold and a cane, I figured it out. And I really practiced so hard with that to understand how to do it, and now I really know it. So, if there's a reason why I were to not have my cane, I also know how to use my feet to feel and to walk more slowly when I have to do that. Jean really taught me so much, and now I really feel confident when I'm traveling independently to go to work. And when I look back, also Jean assisted me at work with figuring out how to look at the shirts and the pants with the mirror and the scanner.